Hey Jooba People, today we're going to be learning how to come up with advanced guitar chords. Okay, so this is going to be a live stream and we're going to answer questions, anything. So if you want to be notified of future live streams, then be sure to hit the notification bell when you subscribe. Very important, and to select all. Then you'll be notified of future subscriptions we have. So we're going to look at something called borrowing notes. Okay, so borrowed notes are basically if you have a chord and you borrow notes from another chord. Okay, so that's a quickly, easy way to visualize new chords. So let's say I'm playing in the key of C. Then I kind of look at the other chords in the key and I think of adding those notes. So one easy thing you could do is you can think of the G chord and you could add that note that's in the G chord there. So. And then if I go to the F, I can do the same one. I can add that note. Let me give you another example that might explain it a bit better. Let's say I'm playing in the key of G, and you know in the key of G you use the chords G, D, and C quite often. So let's say I'm playing in the key of G, and then I want to add the notes from the D chord. So. There, I immediately play like a really cool. And then if I go to the C, I can do exactly the same thing. So what I did here with the E minor is I took the E minor and the D and I combined those notes together. So now there playing a C major 7, but then I'm still borrowing notes from the D chord. And you can think of it as like a sharp 11 kind of thing and use fancy names for the chords, but in its essence, what you're doing to come up with cool new chords is you're just taking notes from the other chords in the key and adding them to the current chord. So. And this F sharp note is really, it's got a lot of tension inside it, especially if you're on a C chord and you're playing that F sharp. So if you're just logging on, let me know where you're from and let me know what your name is so we can get chatting. Because a lot of times people see guitarists adding notes to the chords and they see like adding embellishments and things, but they don't know, how do they know which notes? Now you can either go learn the scales or you can just say, okay, I already know the chords in a key, I already know what chords go together. So you just look at the song and you see, okay, it's G, C, E minor, D, A minor, D, B minor. So then you just use those notes to add them to your chord. That's one from B minor. That note's from C. Okay, so we're going to also do, in this lesson, I want to also show you how you can, hey, Levain. Yeah, so the add thing when chords, when we have like a G add 9, it just means you add the 9th note from the scale. but it's really a long road to go there to look like learn all the chord names and everything. That's like a long journey. But what you can do immediately, like anybody can do, is just take the chord and borrow notes from another chord, and there you have it. Let's say, for instance, let's take another key. Let's take the key of E, for example. Okay, so. So we have this E chord here. Let's just play the basic chords: E, A, and then we have B, what if we take the A chord, but we actually add the notes of B inside the A chord? So we keep the A in the bass, and we take these two fingers and slide them up 2 frets. Then you have this really interesting A chord that has a lot of tension. These two notes, if you think of them as coming from a chord, they're coming from a C sharp minor. And the C sharp minor and A actually share 2 notes. Okay, these two. And that's also a good thing. That brings me to another point, like you need to build your awareness of what notes are shared between chords. So for instance, if I'm playing E and B, the one note that's shared between E and B is the B note. So this note here, this finger. So that finger is in both of these chords. It's in the E and it's in the B. On the A chord, the B note becomes an add 9, and then it's like it will resolve to the 1 very nicely. For instance, like I said, now with the A and the C sharp minor, they share 2 notes. These two, E and C sharp. These 2 notes are in the A chord, and in a C sharp minor chord. Now, it's especially nice if you have 2 guitars playing, and if you know these things, then you can kind of know which notes to play. So you can play these 2, and the chord can go from A, and then it could go to C sharp. You can still keep playing those 2 notes. Okay, but let's take the concept of borrowed notes a bit further. Let's say we're in the key of A. Okay. Now I'm playing A major 7 here. Okay. Or you could play it like this. And then we're going to go to D major 7. Now what if we go back to the A major 7, we leave the D shape kind of with these 3 fingers. So you kind of always I'm going to B minor 11. Really, the nice thing about knowing music theory is that you can kind of quickly put stuff in boxes, and that's the next course that I'm going to design, is music theory for guitarists, where you can learn music theory in a systematic way, and then you can then you can anything that somebody teaches you can kind of put into a box quickly, and you can snap it a lot faster. Okay, let's do another concept here. Let's say finding new voicings to play the same chord. Okay, so if you wanna play G, and you'll find the exact same way, well, exact same chord, but just a different place to play it on the neck. How do you go about that? Well, the answer is simple. It's the cage system, right? So this is a G chord, G open chord. Now, if you think of the word cage, what comes after G? E, right? Cage, C-A-G-E. So the next way to play a G chord will be using the E shape, okay? And the way you do that is just you take the root note and then you play the E chord. But it's going to be a bar chord, obviously. But you don't have to play a bar chord. You can play a part of it. And so, for instance, this is an E. So that's the next available place to play it. Now, you don't have to play the full chord like this, because that just sounds like very folky and not really what you would want to do. But maybe you could add some of those notes. So you could play the G like this. So there I'm adding the note from the next available G shape. And what if I take the next one? What's after E? D. So the next place is going to be, take the, that's going to be my next shape. So I can play that with the open string. So if I'm doing G, C, D, I could do. How did I come up with this D shape? I just took the D chord and said, what's the next one? Cage. What comes after D? C. And what comes after C? A. So that I know, and this is my open D string. So, and I know my E string I can play open because I do this D, and you take that finger off. So you put all those things together, and then you have this D chord. Okay, I'm not feeling too well, so I'm going to end the stream and then we'll talk again.